How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Gym Range Podcast. Alex, this is episode 25. We made it
spectacular. We did
25. Wow.
25.
Quarter of a century episode.
Big mark.
Yeah.
Big mark.
Yeah. We'll take the wins where we can get them.
I was trying to think of a college basketball player, but I couldn't think of anybody.
Yeah. We have Sweet 16 games to talk about, and then Elite 8 games to talk about. And the Final Four is this weekend, which is huge week for Alex, honestly. Big weekend.
Terrifying weekend for Alex.
Yeah. So let's go through the Sweet 16 games. We'll start at the top. And number one overall seed Gonzaga goes down.
They do.
This had maybe not a big effect on my reputation, but I have become a fairly well-known Gonzaga defender.
You have.
And at some point while watching this game, you know how like you watch a game and then the team that you're supporting or semi-supporting, like at some point you realize you get this pit in your stomach that like they're not going to win this game. Like that was me pretty much the whole second half of the Gonzaga game, where I was like, technically there's still plenty of time left. Like they could still win this game, but like I know they're not going to.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get
it. It was a weird game. Like it was just a bizarre game because like if you just isolated Arkansas's performance by itself, I'm willing to die on the hill that they did not play that well. Like I don't think they played that. It was really just like Gonzaga missed a ton of open looks.
They did. They went 5 of 20, 21 from 3.
Yeah,
something like that. It was like 20%,
Nemhard had a terrible
25%.
Game. Yeah, Nemhard wasn't hitting open shots. Bolton wasn't hitting open shots. I mean, it was kind of just Drew Timme against the world. And it was just like somehow Arkansas won that game despite JD Notae, because that guy almost put up 30 shots. Which is crazy.
It was something. It was something
to behold. There was one shot like towards the end of the game, which like I was trying to find it afterwards. Like I didn't see anybody talking about it on Twitter. But he was like at the top of the key, and I don't remember if he did like a step back or what, but he just hoisted a shot that went so high in the air that the camera couldn't follow it. Like it went up into the rafters. It was crazy. And Razorbacks still pulled it out. So it's back-to-back Elite Eights for the Muss-Bus.
Oh, yeah.
And
could be 3 next year. Listen, I don't want to get ahead of myself. We'll talk about that in the future.
Yeah. But. Yeah, we'll get to them, but they like
Musselman's geared up.
They've reloaded, which is a scary thing. I don't really know what this means for Gonzaga, because I think the general perception is that they're not going to be as good next year. I mean, you never know, obviously. Like
they won't though. That's the issue. They're just not. I mean, they have guys who can return.
Right. I mean, like you have to hope Timme comes back, and there's no guarantee that he does.
Can Nemhard return?
He can. Yeah.
Okay, Nemhard can return. Nemhard's only played 4 years of basketball.
Yeah, so he can.
Well, hold on. Let me confirm that. Yes, it's 4 years of basketball. He's got a COVID year.
I believe Bolton is done, though.
Bolton's done because he was a grad transfer from Iowa State.
Yeah.
Strother can come back, although he's getting NBA looks. Holmgren's obviously gone.
Holmgren's gone.
And then your bench could be 3 starters next year. So Salas, Watson, and Hickman.
Hickman, yeah.
Which would then, if Hickman and Salas are going to start, that would make me think Nemhard's gone.
Yeah, that's true. And Salas, I think, will be a breakout candidate for next year. At least I'm kind of hoping. Because we talked about him a little bit at the beginning of this year. We weren't sure like how much time he was going to get, but
we did.
Yeah,
both liked him. I did like Hickman.
You like him. And his mom liked one of our tweets.
So. Did massive. We are a podcast for the parents.
We are the official parent podcast. That's true. Yeah. So disappointing year I had Gonzaga winning my bracket, which like
it's okay.
That's okay. I'm willing to get dunked on for that.
Hey, listen, it's another year.
Yeah.
The preseason number 1 hasn't won the national title.
It's true. It's only happened like 3 times.
Yeah, but it hasn't happened since 2009. So just keep that.
Who won the tournament there?
UNC.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who won that year?
Yeah.
Tyler bro.
All right, next one. Villanova takes down Michigan, and we'll talk about
Arkansas that game. We talked about JD Notae and then went to Gonzaga.
Because there's not. I mean,
I just wanted to shout out Jalen Williams.
We should shout out Jalen Williams because he's played extremely well. I said this in a TikTok that
he made the All West team.
He made the All West region team, and that's extremely impressive given that his team basically left him on an island against two of the best post players in the country.
Yes.
Yeah. And so people went in on him for diving and taking charges and whatever. Maybe some of those were reputation calls, but he played well. I'm willing to say that he played very well.
He played well.
Yeah.
And Trey Wade put it to him. He's 6'6".
Mm-hmm.
He's 6'6", and he's playing guarding toe-to-toe in that front court. And then he was contributing offensively too. So,
yeah.
I mean, Arkansas won that game. You know what? I'll say it because you didn't say it, but Chet's fouls, number 3 and number 5.
And arguably number 4.
Even number 4?
Yeah. I'd say
4.
even the last 3 were a little questionable.
That's why I was saying number 3 and number 5, though. Those were egregious.
Which is tough because, I think if he kind of did what Williams was doing in that game and just, didn't jump and just took the contact, I think he actually gets those calls, which is kind of crazy to say. But,
yeah.
I don't know what else.
He did that one in the first half where, he tried to draw a charge, but then, contact was made and, it was also kind of avoided at the same time. He didn't go down. Then it's a block.
Yeah.
That
I just don't know what else the guy's supposed to do. He went straight up. There's only so much he can do.
He still went 5 of 9 from the field.
Yeah, but he left the game with 8 minutes left.
Posted a double-double, 11 and 14. Left the game with 5 minutes left.
Yeah. So
tough.
It was tough. And that's not how you want to see the potential number 1 overall picks.
My number 1 pick.
But he's not mine either anymore.
Let's go.
Yeah, my board has just fluctuated a ton. I don't even know what to do anymore. I think we'll talk about it eventually, but
Jaden Ivey 1. Figure out the rest.
Jaden Ivey 1. Keegan Murray, number 1. Yeah.
Well, we're at it. Just AJ Griffin.
Benedict Mathurin, number 1. Yeah. Walker Kessler, number 1.
Yeah, Walker Kessler, number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
Bucket.
Yeah. Bucket. Yeah. I wonder what the odds on that are. But
50,000 to 1.
Yeah. I'll throw $1 on that. Why not?
Text Trey and Chickster were having that.
Oh,
Did you see that? Yeah. Anyway, I know that was way off topic.
Yeah. Can we talk about Villanova and Michigan now? Have we given Arkansas their due? Because we will. Arkansas did win, so we have another game of theirs to talk about.
We do.
Yeah. Okay, Villanova, Michigan. We'll kind of talk more about Villanova. I think I have more takeaways really from their second game than their first one.
Yeah.
But it's weird to say that a team can be in the Final Four, and I'm just not. I'm still not sold. We kind of talked about how the depth concerns are maybe actually not concerns, how they might be beneficial for them because they're used to having a short bench. So it's we're just doing what we've been doing all season.
Not anymore.
Well, not anymore. Yeah.
Well, not intended.
That's where you run into issues though. That's where you run into problems with that strategy. So
exactly.
Yeah.
But see, here's the issue. I watched the Gonzaga Arkansas game from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
And when that game went to commercials, I flip over to Villanova, Michigan, because Jay Wright has never lost in his career to a double-digit seed. And they were playing Michigan. I get the interior size advantage Michigan had with Dickinson, but I really didn't envision a scenario where Villanova was losing this game, so I didn't give it as much time.
Mm-hmm. Do you see anything from an X's and O's standpoint that has allowed Villanova to win these games against bigs that are really good bigs when they don't Villanova doesn't really have a post guy
you have Eric Dixon, but he's 6'9".
Yeah,
they're all grown men though. They're not gonna back down. They're physical. Mm-hmm. They're gonna push you off. They did double him every time. And Dickinson likes to kind of catch it. He likes to turn towards the baseline. He kind of hit that little. He everything needs to go back to his left hand.
Yeah,
and Jay Wright's gonna know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had Villanova losing to Ohio State because I was EJ Liddell's just he's gonna feast down low, and then that ended up not happening because you have Conn Gillespie driving down, he does this thing where he will just dribble straight down to the baseline and throw his butt into the defender. and then just like wait for the double team and kick it out, and they'll hit a three, and that's kind of their whole offense.
It is.
Yeah, all that to say, like, and again, like I have more takeaways from the Villanova Houston game than I do the Villanova Michigan game, but I'm still, I'm not there with Villanova, and I'm even less there given
Justin Moore's injury
that was sustained at
which
the end of the
terrible. Absolutely. Like 34 seconds away from a Final Four and you tear your Achilles.
Yeah.
Just terrible.
It is really unfortunate. And I have come around on Colin Gillespie, I think throughout his career, I've been a little annoyed by, but at this point, I think I respect him a lot.
Oh.
Because there is something to be said for how seasoned he is. And he is like, he's a good shooter, and he can
he's just good.
And it's like, it is weird because that's something I really love about college basketball is like that Colin Gillespie can be a better college guard than Jaden Ivey, who's going to be a top 5 pick. That's like crazy. That's crazy to me that can happen. But
you could also say Gillespie's what, 2 or 3 years older than Ivey.
Yeah, so some of that
in
is
the game.
Yeah, he's so used to it that
yeah.
So that's fair, but I don't know, just not what you would expect.
Listen, this is Gillespie's second Final Four, so
yeah,
I'll back off.
I mean, he wasn't like, I mean, how big of a piece was he in the first one? Like that was Archie.
He played,
right?
It was Arcidiakono's team.
Was he the sixth man?
DiVincenzo's team, and it was Hart's team. And he was off the bench. He played in that game against Michigan.
Yeah,
I feel like not significant, but enough minutes
to where you can reasonably say he has experience in the Final Four.
Correct.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about Duke and Texas Tech.
That was hold on. I mean, that has to.
Was Texas Tech favored?
That was the best. No, were they? Hold on.
At one point, I think they were. I think they were like.
Yes, they were, but line was even at tip.
Okay.
According to ESPN's Sportsbooks app, whatever, Caesar's app. What was I going to say? Was that the best game of the Sweet 16?
I would say.
I mean, I'll set aside my bias and say yes.
I'd say the second best.
Okay. Is the first a game that happened on Friday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I know which one you mean.
Yeah.
But
honestly, from an actual I think if you take out kind of the storylines part of it, I do think this was the best Sweet 16 game. I think from a pure basketball standpoint, this was absolutely the best Sweet 16 game.
Yes.
Yeah. Because this was the game. Was it this game that Duke didn't miss a field goal for the last 8 minutes of the game? Or was that? Yeah.
And they shot 71% from the field against the country's best defense.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. They were down 4 at halftime, and then I believe they were down at halftime. They were down 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not. I'm making stuff up. No, yeah. It was at the 15:08 mark. They were down 6. And then
just popped off.
Kind of it was back and forth. Kevin McCullough hit it was an and one layup, and he hit the free throws.
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel like that made it 56-52, if I remember right. Because that's when, oddly enough, they were down 4, and I felt decently I felt okay.
You felt fine.
I felt fine.
It wasn't that you were in shock, and so you were just
no, because there were points where Duke very well could have been down 12 that break.
Yeah. Okay.
But oh geez, they had it at 4, then it got to 6, and then Texas Tech, Duke would chip away at it. They take a 2-point lead. It was just this amazing back and forth of a basketball game.
Mm-hmm.
It was just kind of, and obviously going into it, we knew it was going to be offense versus defense. How would Duke find a way when Duke loves to score in the paint?
Yeah.
Which is totally just new of a Duke team.
Mm-hmm.
Duke loves to eat inside. All their ball handlers go right.
Mhm.
Like they all go right,
Yeah.
all of them. Mark Williams is almost limited to just being a dunker at certain points. And like Paolo Banchero, we know who he is, but like he loves the little catch at the top. And if you don't force middle, then you're always forcing him baseline, obviously. And how is he going to react to that? But I mean, just credit Coach K, credit the zone, credit that zone. They threw the zone
Yeah.
in, which has become a little staple of Coach K's in recent years. The little man-to-man with the mix of zone.
Yeah.
And then they just made shots. I don't know that's really what they did.
Yeah. Can we talk about Jeremy Roach for a second?
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
I think like he's not the best player on this team. He might not even be like a top 3 player on this team, but I think he is one of the biggest reasons why they are where they are right now.
He's this is tough. It's because it's him and Mark Williams. Like Paolo Banchero's offense is just off the charts and obviously catapults his team to another level.
Mm-hmm.
But Williams unlocks a certain thing defensively, and Roach does the same thing offensively. Like Duke has been, and listen, I'll be the first one to say that I was more concerned with the emergence of Wendell Moore than I was with Jeremy Roach this season. Yeah. And to a certain degree, that's been true because Wendell has been like Duke's consistent, like you need like 13 to 15, like he's going to get you there and do everything else.
Yeah, I mean, he's a Swiss Army knife.
Exactly. And Roach was always going to be like, he needs to have the keys at some point for this to actually work. Right. And it has. And Tristan, we had him on in September or October, and he was the one. He was like, Jeremy Roach's emergence is going to be what does it for this team. And it took until March, but guards win you games in March, and that's where Duke is. Yeah,
the difference for me between Roach and Williams is like it seems like to me, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Williams has kind of been that guy all season. Like I think he's been very underrated from an impact standpoint, whereas like Roach, it was like, okay, we can give him the keys, but at what point is he actually going to be the lead guard that we need him to be? Because that was a criticism of Duke for a long time, was like, all right, great,
they didn't have a point guard.
They have the wings, that's cool, but they don't really have a point guard.
They don't.
Point guard by committee.
Yeah. And even then it was like, it came back to like Moore, and credit to Moore for like doing it in spurts. Like he had a triple double. He posted games of 6 to 8 assists, but like, it's not who he is. Like he needs to be in the role he's in at the moment. But I mean, like the thing I think with Mark is he's now found a way to like keep himself out of foul trouble, and he's no longer, it felt like December and January, I mean, he was hunting for any ball that came within 6 feet. Now he's kind of like picking and choosing those battles, because now like I've talked ad nauseum about how he leaves when he chases a ball that's going to just careen off the top of the backboard and fall into a big's arms. He's leaving that backside put back open, and now he's rebounding better. Like that was Duke couldn't rebound for a stretch this season.
Yeah,
him and Paolo are both grabbing whatever comes off the rim. But yeah, I mean, Roach, you saw it against Michigan State and you saw it against Texas Tech. The way Texas Tech, especially how easily he broke down not easily, but like he broke down that defense just with dribble penetrations. But yeah, and that's a lot of talk about Duke. I just want to shout out Bryson Williams, because I mean, he was fantastic.
Absolutely.
As an undersized big against Mark Williams.
Yeah, Bryson Williams definitely deserves a lot of credit. I gave him a little bit of a shout out in my last TikTok I did about the all-region team from the West. But to your point about Williams, I mean, team high 8 rebounds, 16 points, 3 blocks, and only 2 fouls. And then AJ Griffin chipped in for 7 rebounds, which I think is significant because, like, Texas Tech is a very good rebounding team. And that was like, they won the rebounding battle, especially offensively. But, like, the fact that those guys were able to put in work on the boards where they could, I think, is another reason why Duke is able to come out on top of this game. Yeah, it is key. Yeah, but big game for Duke. All right, next one. All right, we got Houston, Arizona. This one was kind of, from a stylistic standpoint, was like kind of predictable just because of the game that Arizona had with a very good offensive rebounding team in TCU, and then you run into an even better offensive rebounding team in Houston that had sort of started to find some answers offensively. So like, not to say like it was so obvious Houston was going to win. Like it's easy to say that looking back now, but
Obviously, hindsight's 2020.
yeah, but even like going into the game, it was kind of like, this is like a young team, not a lot of tournament experience. Tommy Lloyd, first year head coach. This is a team that is better. It's basically just TCU, but way better. And Arizona had almost lost to TCU. So like you could kind of see the path to where Houston was going to win this game. Yeah, but you know, Arizona was very good this season. I think they were probably, you know, one of the more popular picks to cut down the nets at the end.
They were one of the more consistent teams throughout the season.
Oh, they absolutely were. I mean, they were like 31-3 entering the tournament.
Yeah, and I know that. Yeah,
and none of their losses were like they had,
egregious.
Yeah, other than they had the loss at Colorado on Colorado's senior night. So like, you know,
That's
whatever.
fine.
Like every team has like one of those like weird ones, but then their other two were like
Tennessee and gosh, who's the other one? That doesn't matter. They lost 3 games.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They lost to Houston. Whatever. So,
and Houston shot 45% from 3.
Yeah.
And their defense, I mean, obviously going into that, you knew their defense was going to give Arizona hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
that's their calling card year in and year out is the defense. It was a question of like, and it was my question all year. I definitely didn't give Houston enough credit.
No one did.
Yeah.
No one did.
And some of that is like they didn't play anybody. Like
they didn't, and the American was down, and we've all said it. Like we've said it on this podcast. You lose Marcus Sasser and you lose Tremont Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know what. I mean, just credit to Kyler Edwards and Jamal Shedd.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they carried them.
And even Taze Moore, like he had his games.
Taze Moore, correct.
Yeah.
But yes, and again, full transparency, I was locked into that Duke game, so I saw like the last 5 minutes of this game.
Hey, yeah, fair enough. Something that really hurt Arizona was that guys like, so they had guys like Krisa, who's like kind of he was injured, and also like even when he's healthy is kind of hit or miss anyway. He went 1 for 7 from the field. All those shots were 3-pointers.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yep. He also finished with 4 fouls and
even better
1 assist. Tubelis, who had been like pretty good all season, went 0 for 8 from the field with 2 points. Yeah, it was just a disaster class from him. And I mean, Mathurin and Terry had 15 and 17 respectively. Koloko.
But Mathurin didn't shoot well from the field.
He did. I mean, none of them really did other than Terry. He was the only one who had a real respectable game shooting wise. Koloko only pulled down 4 rebounds, which
that's not good.
Not good at all. Then on the Houston side, I mean, Jamal Sheed, 21 points. Didn't shoot like all that great, but 21 points is 21 points, 6 assists. Then Kyler Edwards added 19. So it's something interesting that I was thinking about was, which really made me reconsider like all of my Houston takes from this season, was even the games that I watched them in Pittsburgh where they played UAB and then they played Illinois in the second round. They haven't had a game this season until the one that we'll talk about from the Elite Eight, but they didn't have a game in this tournament where I was like, you know, they looked very in control of every game they played. Yeah. I think that's the best way to say it, is like everything they wanted, they were getting.
Yep.
And yeah, so
I get that.
But then eventually it fell apart.
It runs out.
So yeah, it did run out, and that's what's going to happen when your offense is like, all right, who's the guy who's going to show up today? Like you need some consistent answers on that end. It can't just be like, well, we hope, you know, Kyler Edwards is hitting shots today. We hope Taze Moore shows up today. So eventually that did come back to bite them. But in this game, like they ran away with it.
They did.
And Arizona's inexperience really showed in this one. So, yeah, well, I'm curious to see what they look like next year.
It'll be fun. Easily a top 5 team into the season.
I mean, Mathurin will be gone. Koloko could potentially be gone.
Oh, I thought we meant Houston.
Oh, I was talking Arizona.
Oh, Arizona's going to be top 20?
I'm willing to say top 20. Yeah.
We also had St. Bonaventure as a top 20 team, I think, at one point. So.
Oh, I mean, it's always subject to change. And
yeah.
well,
Anyways.
So on that note, though, St. Bonaventure, I have to go back and check. But one of my preseason hot takes was that they'd enter the tournament as like a top 4 seed.
Okay.
But
what?
I have to go back and check. I have to go back and check to see if I specified which tournament.
Oh yeah, NIT.
If not,
they were a top 4 seed in the
they're
NIT.
Top 4 seed in the NIT. There you go. I'll give myself like a C grade for that one if I didn't specify.
I love it. Absolutely.
Yeah. At some point, yeah, that'll be one of our season closing episodes is grading the hot takes. We have to do like season awards, grade the hot takes, and then graphic of the year. And that'll be like, I
don't know if I want to rewatch that hot takes episode.
I'll do it. Well, we got to do it. I'll throw all the takes in like a spreadsheet, and then we can just run through them and give out grades. And
no, I'll make myself rewatch it.
We'll just see. You don't have to. I'll do it, and I'll just put it in the spreadsheet. And then...
I'll rewatch it.
Okay.
I'll rewatch it. Anyway.
Yeah.
To Friday.
It'll answer the question of like, how wrong can we be? Yeah. Let's move on to the Friday game. So. First Friday game.
Yes.
The run continued. The run continued for St.
The mighty Peacocks.
Yeah. This, like, I don't really know like what the takeaway from this is necessarily, other than like, wow, Shaheen Holloway can really coach, and wow, Matt Painter is suspect. And also, Jaden Ivey looked absolutely lost in this game.
Yes, he hit. Gosh,
he had like a big shot at the end.
He had the 1-3 to cut it to like 3 or whatever it was.
Yeah,
late in the game.
That was
got them to 64.
That was basically his whole contribution, though. He had 9.6 turnovers.
Not ideal.
It wasn't a good game. It was not a good game for Jaden Ivey.
No.
At least, not the game that you want.
And listen, I was worried about St. Peter's foul trouble coming into the game, and that was pretty quickly realized.
Yeah.
And then Defo fouled out, but I mean, you had. I'm just gonna pull it up. I don't want to see the box score, but they had. How many guys went? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You had 7 guys go 19 plus in the game, which I mean always helps.
Yeah.
Doug Etter didn't have a good shooting night, but was
proficient from the line.
Proficient from the line. That's all you can ask.
That's all you can ask for.
And it's not like there are folks who had been St. Peter's fans all season. They're like, this team has not been good offensively. Like, it's bound to catch up at some point. It caught up this game, but their defense won.
Yeah, exactly.
And they frustrated Edie. Williams had a good game. He had what, like 18, 16?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So,
he finished with 16.
16? Okay. Yeah. I remember, didn't Stefanovic hit like 3 threes early? That's when I kind of felt, I was like, maybe this is feeling kind of over.
Yeah, it looked like they were kind of going to run away with it. And then, he hit those 3 early and then missed his next 4. So that was kind of how it just, like, they just sputtered. Like, it was very bizarre.
Which has happened to Purdue this season.
Yeah, in a big way. That was kind of their whole problem. I don't think people understand the amount of game planning that it takes to go against another, like, we've talked about a great front court already in this episode, but Edie and Williams
can't scout. You can't scout a 7'4" player.
Yeah,
you can't do anything with that in practice.
Right? Yeah, you can't. There's nobody on your scout team who's 7 feet
player
tall.
On your roster that's a freshman. You're gonna give him like something to hold in his hand.
Yeah.
With the size he has too, like he moves people.
Yeah,
and Rupert.
He just takes up space. Like, that's So I don't even understand. Like, I don't even understand how you begin to game plan for that with nobody who can match that kind of size.
Yeah.
And somehow Holloway made it happen.
He
So
did.
yeah. But yeah, he's on to Seton Hall now.
He is. And the St. Peter's team, they all showed up for his press
I
conference, which
saw
I
that.
thought was awesome.
Yeah, that was really cool.
That was awesome.
He shouted them out, standing O. It was
The
cool.
whole 9 yards. It was amazing. Well deserved.
Yeah, I think well deserved for everybody. I think Sheehan Holloway definitely deserved this job. I mean, I think added bonus that he's an alumni.
Played there.
Like played
Took him
there.
in Sweet
Yeah.
16.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And like he made St. Peter's not look like
A 15 seed.
Not look like a 15 seed, but also made that program not look like it was one of the worst jobs in the country, which I think you can make the argument that it is.
Yeah.
He like
some of those stories
won there pretty consistently. And I don't think you would walk away from this tournament being like, that's one of the worst jobs in the country. So
now you might after reading all the articles.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's true. Yeah. All the Twitter threads and whatnot about leaky roofs and rims falling off the basket during warm-ups. And
yes.
Yeah. So
I do want to get to this next game though, because I know it made you happy. I know it made you so happy.
The Kansas Providence game.
Providence went out.
They finally lost, dude.
Oh, Providence went out.
It like, I guess better late than never. Like
yeah. No, but like with Gonzaga out, that had to make you happy.
Well, yeah, because
I mean, no one wanted to see him.
Well, no. Well,
not no one. I don't want to say no one. I don't want to like.
Well, we're gonna talk about another team very shortly that I wanted to see less than Providence, if you can believe it.
Oh.
So.
I mean, Duke.
No.
I mean, I think that's a fair question.
I would watch Duke over Providence any day of the week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's not that all like I won't root for Duke.
Yeah.
I would never do that. But
I figured you'd be rooting for Duke to lose more than like you'd want Providence out of the tournament. See, that's the question. That's the conundrum.
That's a good point. If it's just a question of which basketball team would I rather watch, it's easily Duke. Duke clears Providence for sure.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah, the rooting interest is like another issue entirely.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, okay, that's fair.
But
Remy freaking Martin. I mean, that's all that.
He finally showed up. Where was he this whole time?
He's with Jeremy Roach. I don't know what to.
I don't know what they were doing.
They're here. It doesn't matter.
This has been one of the weirdest like individual seasons for a player I can remember. Because Remy, he came in. He was like the preseason conference player of the year.
Yeah. Then he fell off. And Self shut him down.
Yeah, Self put him in the doghouse, and then he got hurt, and then he
shut him down because he was trying to play through the injury.
And now he's like back and is the reason like
they're in the Final Four.
It's a very similar thing to Roach with Duke, where like, yeah, Kansas had the wing depth, and that's cool, but and no disrespect to like DeJuan Harris, but
no one's scared of DeJuan Harris.
No one's scared of him. Yeah, no one's scared of him. Remy Martin
defensively, yes, but like no one's scared about his penetration or him shooting from. I mean, you're sagging off anytime he catches it on the perimeter.
Yeah. Like they needed Remy Martin to go on this run, and he showed up. And
he did. He had 23.
23 points on over 50% from the field, added 7 rebounds. So,
yep.
Yeah, pretty good.
Baji struggled. He again, like this. It's the issue though. Like he's an off the ball player. He's an off the ball wing. Like he's never. And we talked about that for the season. But he's always been able to score. He's always been able to shoot at a prolific clip. Providence did a great job of shutting him and Christian Brown down.
And that speaks to the importance of Remy Martin even more, because Kansas, for much of the season, was just, we need a bucket. Okay, give the ball to Ochai Agbaji and let him cook. And then we run into a Providence team that game plans for that, and they're like, we're not going to let Agbaji cook in this one. So then who do you get the ball to? Like, if Remy Martin doesn't show up, I think they're absolutely screwed.
They probably lose that game.
They
They do lose that game.
They do lose that game. Yeah, absolutely carried. I mean, neither of these teams shot well from three. It was overall kind of an ugly game. Yeah, nobody really shot that well at all.
Yeah.
Ron Harris contributed 6, so he got his 6 points. Congrats to him. Yeah.
Congrats to
him. But yeah. Well, I mean, we just went off about how like nobody's scared of DeJuan Harris offensively.
You're not though.
Yeah.
You're not. I'm not. Reality.
That's one.
You would let teams, coaches. Jay Wright is going to go into that game. He's going to be like, "I'll let DeJuan Harris beat us."
Yeah, they'd play 5-on-4 on defense.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Gillespie is going to sag off of him.
That's what they do.
Gillespie is going to sag off of him, and he's going to help on Agbaji and Braun when they come off those little curls.
Yeah, they just deny Agbaji the entire time. That's what they do, and let DeJuan Harris go like 4.
They're just going to stick Slater on him. I'm going to stick Slater on him and call him a dead.
Yeah.
But yes, I know that's forecasting to something we're going to talk about later.
Yeah. Well, Al Durham had 21 points in this game for Providence, so I guess good for him.
Great 1-year pickup.
It was
phenomenal for Ed.
He was a huge part. He was a huge part of this team, and as much as I have to give him his flowers. As much as I wanted Providence to lose, I was kind of sick of them, and they did have a little bit of a Mickey Mouse run to the Sweet 16. They got to play 2 double-digit seeds. And I mean, I'm just saying, like Richmond, like they weren't going to lose to Richmond. There's no way. Like Richmond, I mean, they shut Iowa down from the perimeter, but like the weird thing about Providence is that they're not like super exceptional at anything.
They're just good at everything.
Yeah, it's just kind of like a mystery for like, how do we stop them? Because there's not like one thing that we can pick out and be like, we have to key in on their 3-point shooting. So
yes. Anyways, this next game, this UNC when UNC beat UCLA, I knew that my worst nightmare was going to become a reality.
Well, it was always such a fun hypothetical to look at the bracket when it first came out and be like, oh, Duke and Carolina are on the same side. Wouldn't that be so great if they made the Final Four? Like, it won't happen because Carolina's the 8th seed. And then they win this game, and you're like, wait a second. Hold on.
I was like, no, please.
No.
Please.
No.
I was running through it in my head. I was like, no.
You can't duck Carolina, though. You don't want to duck them. Don't you think that's a bad look, isn't it?
You're never gonna lose. Like, you don't duck Carolina, but the Duke and UNC fans advocating for this matchup are like criminally insane. Because I talked in the episode after Duke lost to Carolina, how I said Carolina now. You remember what I said? I said Carolina now has the argument ending. This is what we did. And I said there were 2 scenarios that could happen where that scenario is trumped. And I said, these teams meet in the Final Four of the national championship, and you just play that card. And lo and behold, 3 weeks later, look what we're staring down.
This is the ultimate. It will be we'll preview it, but it is the ultimate trump card. Absolutely. I can't like deal with that. There's a lot of pressure.
It is Coach K's 100th game against the University of North Carolina. 100th in the Final Four in his last season.
Like that's like the ultimate. Like, his reputation might be tarnished if he loses to North Carolina. I'm gonna be honest.
No, it's not tarnished.
Well, you lose your last home game in Cameron to your bitter rivals. You lose in the Final Four.
Bitter, yes. Sad for me, yes. Sad for Duke fans, that team. Coach K probably. He won't admit it, though. Yes. Do you finish with an even 500 against North Carolina? Yes. Is that going to be another argument thing? Yes. As I keep talking, I hate the scenario more and more.
Yeah. It's obvious. I mean, it's hyperbole to say that K's reputation is tarnished, but the reason I say that is because
it's stained. it's staying.
Well, the
It's
reason I
staying.
say that is because it's setting up for this like perfect storybook ending, and then just can immediately just stop.
Yeah, the house of cards can fall.
Yeah, it can go
Yes.
from the best possible thing to the worst possible thing in a matter of minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the game we were supposed to talk about.
Right. Carolina, UCLA.
I really thought UCLA. Gosh, who was it? It was Tiger Campbell beat somebody, and then I think he hit like a little like not reverse layup, but like a little like right hander on the left side of the basket.
Yeah.
They went up 3, and I was like, hold on. And then Caleb Love. I mean, that second half was just spectacular.
Yeah.
Like, he hit 2 consecutive threes, and I was like, well, this was fun.
No, he took over. He absolutely took over.
He had 30 of UNC's 73.
Yeah.
He had 27 in the second half. Like, all because he switched shoes.
Oh, was that what happened?
Yeah. I think he switched from this. He definitely switched. I think he switched from the Space Jams to the Pantone Blue 11s. And then he wore the Pantone Blue 11s against St. Peter's. And guess what he's wearing on Saturday?
The Blue 11s.
Yeah. But
I didn't know that was a storyline. You're really in the weeds if you're if you're looking at the storyline.
He tweeted it. He goes, "Yes, I have my blue shoes." He tweeted that.
Did you like report him for like?
Dude, no, I was texting a friend.
Like,
I did think, yeah, I should tweet it. I should flag it on Twitter.
Yeah.
No. Anyway, just again, it was heavy log minutes from this UNC starting 5, which everyone knew going in.
Mm-hmm.
Styles and Puff Johnson combined only played 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But I mean, Baycott's a walking double-double. That was already known. Brady, they did a good job on Brady Manick. They did a great job. They went 3 of 10 from 3.
Yeah.
It's just Caleb Love went nuclear.
Right. And in this tournament overall, Brady Manick's been awesome.
He's been their best player.
He has been. Yeah. But yeah, like you said, Baycott walking double-double. But this was the Caleb Love game. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We got one kind of similar. We had the RJ Davis game.
We had the RJ Davis game against Baylor, and we had the RJ Davis game against Marquette, and the Baylor game. It was Brady Manick's before it was RJ Davis.
Game. Yeah.
It was Brady Manick before it was RJ Davis.
Yeah. Well, because that was the game. I don't. Can it be the Brady Manick game if he got ejected? I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes it even better.
That makes it even more of the Brady Manick game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on now.
Yeah.
And then Baycott had 20 in the other game.
I don't know if you saw this, but North Carolina basketball, maybe they posted it on Twitter too, but I saw it on TikTok where they went around and had a bunch of their players pronounce New Orleans. Did you see this?
I did.
Some of them were like pretty bad.
I saw Nolans, which I like. I went to New Orleans once back in my heyday.
Back in your heyday?
Yeah, back in my heyday.
Back when you peaked.
Yeah, back when I peaked in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in like 8th or 9th grade. I don't know. Someone said it was like Nolans, but then like everyone else was like, no,
it's not how the locals say it.
No, I don't. I'm not gonna like try and quote myself on what the locals call New Orleans. I just think I think people just like call it New Orleans. That's why people in the comments were like, Brady's saying it right.
Yeah, New Orleans. That's another popular.
I feel like that's just exaggerating like the last like 2 syllables.
Yeah, there's
don't need that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways.
Yeah, all that to say, this wasn't the game that got them to the Final Four, but it kind of was the game that got them to the Final Four. I think whoever won this game was going to the Final Four. Like, I don't think St. Peter's was as cool as that run was. I don't think St. Peter's was beating either of these teams.
No.
Which is what we said about Kentucky, and like I get it, like that's what we said about St. Peter's already, but you can only like St. Peter's objectively was not a good team. Like people aren't going to remember that, but people need to understand that is
the NCAA executives
for a reason.
The NCAA executives weren't going to keep a Duke UNC Final Four from the masses.
Oh,
Disney had already paid them off.
Yeah.
30 for 30 is going to be up in like a year and a half. movie on Disney Plus in 2 years.
About how they paid them off, or just about how they're playing in the Final Four?
How they're playing in the Final Four.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Okay.
Come on now. I mean, we should do it. I'm gonna come up with a cast for the movie because they're gonna make one.
Who plays Coach K?
Off
the top of your head.
Off the top of my head,
Yeah.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh, that's actually pretty good. I kind of like that.
Yes.
I was thinking like, well, I guess they're a talent. I was gonna say like somebody kind of like I want somebody who can really hit the Coach K voice, like the kind of.
You think Tommy Lee Jones can hit that?
I think he probably could, but I don't know. So somebody really like nasally, like I coach for the relationships, like something like that. I don't know, but
that we need to clip that. That needs to be clipped.
Yeah, I mean, he says stuff like that. He says
he does.
Yeah, like in the press conference earlier, he's like, "Can you ask the players before you ask me any questions?"
Can I show a picture?
And then he's
like, "Are we gonna get in trouble if I show a picture of Tommy Lee Jones?"
No.
Come on.
Okay, I can see.
Yeah. Come on. Come on.
That's a good call.
That was too easy.
I think somebody in that movie has to play themselves, though. I bet Coach K would want to play himself.
No, I don't think he would.
Yeah.
I don't think he would
play himself in the movie about him. I think there needs to be one random cast member in that movie who plays themselves.
Brady Manick.
Yeah, I think.
How are you going to find someone who looks like Brady Manick?
I think you just put shoot, what's the guy's name? What's the guy's name from he was in Mad Max. Shoot, he's like Australian.
Tom Hardy?
Yeah, you put him on like a starvation diet and have him grow his beard out. I think he could be.
Tom Hardy's like 5'10".
I mean, so like.
You got to figure it out. Like, I don't know. You can't distort the angles that much.
I think you could. They do it with Tom Cruise all the time. The guy's like 5'4".
I thought Tom Cruise was like 5'8".
Is
he really
it's
short?
It's an exaggeration. The guy's really short.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I said I love how much it's deviated from the Sweet 16.
No, I think it's a valuable conversation to have.
The casting.
Here's the question: do you include the whole like the whole like DUI thing from early in the season? Is that part of the movie, or is this like a puff piece?
It's Disney. Can you really?
I think you could imply it.
I mean, I guess. Listen, Powell was in the back seat, so
maybe they take some creative liberties and
spice it up.
And he was driving.
You spice it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Oh. Creative. Somewhat of a true story.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. You want to talk about Iowa State, Miami, or you just want to say like it was as much as like Caleb Love beat UCLA, Cameron McGusty beat Iowa State?
I don't want to talk about Iowa State at all, honestly.
Okay.
I don't think they deserve my time. They're the team that I was like great, congrats. You get to hang a banner at the end of the season. You didn't go, 2-75 like you did last season.
2-22. Don't sell them short. 53 less losses.
Okay. My bad. I miscounted. Yeah. Whoops. So that's all fine and good, but like you got to play a team with no coach, then you got to play like maybe the most one-dimensional team in the country, and Iowa State was never like there was no. I would have bet. I don't know what I would have bet. I would have bet some insane amount of money that they were not going to get to the Elite Eight. Even like. There was no way. Like there was no way. Their offense was a disaster. It was horrible. It was
Yeah.
so bad. They needed Tyrese Hunter to bail them out in the first game against LSU. And then I don't even know what even happened in that. Wisconsin just turned the ball over like a ton and missed every
They ended
three-pointer they took.
54-49.
Yeah, just ugly, ugly games. Like, I know, like, you know, if you're a real college basketball sicko, like you love Iowa State, but I just can't. Like it. Usually, you like when the double-digit seeds can go on runs, but when they're just horrible.
When they're Iowa State, Carl does not support.
So sorry to the Cyclones, but I just could not get behind you guys this year. Yeah, and I also had to block an Iowa State fan on TikTok because he wouldn't stop commenting at me. So maybe there's a little bit of that in there, but
I think there's a tinge of a little bit of hatred.
A little bit.
Tinge of hatred
at this point, and I didn't want to. I liked him at the beginning of the season because I thought it was cool. They swept the conference.
You had him. You had TJ Otzelberger as your national coach of the year for a bit.
Yeah, after like the first 15 games, and then I realized that they couldn't shoot at all. So
yeah.
But this is still an Isaiah Wong podcast. I think we need to make that very clear.
It is still an Isaiah Wong podcast. It's just a Miami backcourt podcast.
It is, yeah. Yeah.
Full support for any guard that comes from the University of Miami.
Absolutely. Shout out to Cameron Gussie, man. In his like 6th year of college basketball.
Shout out Charlie Moore too, while we're shouting out 6-year college basketball guys.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Anyways.
Awesome.
Saturday. Which one do you want to talk about first?
We'll talk Villanova Houston first. Like we just talked about a very ugly game. This one, well, here's what I'll say. None of the Elite Eight games were good. I don't think any of them were. They were not fun. But we got to talk about them because they happened. So Villanova to the
quickly
Final
though.
Four. Villanova to the Final Four in a disgusting, horrible. What is it? Alexander in the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. That's what this was. It was Colin Gillespie in the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad game.
And guess what? No one's going to care because you made the Final Four.
Yeah.
Houston was one of, what was it, 20?
One of 20. One of 20. Yeah.
Jeez.
Which it was going to run out at some point. Like we said, they weren't going to keep, the torch could only be passed for so long before it just went out.
Off.
Yeah. So, yeah. Kelvin Sampson is so impressive to me, though. I'll say that. So impressive to me. And Houston, like you said, they're going to be very good next year. At least we think so. At least we think so. The way things are trending, they're going to be a very good team. So, yeah.
It was just ugly. It was an ugly game. Villanova won.
Ugly game that Villanova won and also lost a key rotation player.
Justin Moore, 34 seconds.
Really, really unfortunate.
Not even key rotation player. He was their second best scorer.
Yeah. So, and weirdly enough, Kansas is only like 4-point favorites, even though Villanova doesn't have Justin.
I mean, it gives an opportunity to guys like to Arcidiacono. It gives
Arcidiacono the younger.
Yeah. No. Like the older one's coming back.
Right. Yeah.
Ryan's coming back. Round 6.
Yeah, is he in the G League? Is that where he is now?
He was playing with the Bulls for a while.
He was, but like they're good now. So
dang.
Well, I'm just saying, like
dang.
He was a key part of their rebuild, but
Arcidiacono and Brian Antoine too, I think will get. Jay Wright said he's gonna get minutes, so he's been hampered with injuries. He was a 5-star. See what happens.
Ryan Arcidiacono, he plays for the Knicks?
That's amazing.
That can't be right.
I love that.
Wait, current teams. Is he on the main Celtics?
That's even more fitting.
The Knicks signed. Okay, wait. This is important.
He plays for the Knicks.
We got to figure out where Arcidiacono is.
The Knicks signed Arcidiacono to a contract for the remainder of the season.
When was that?
Hold on.
Yeah, I see that, but I don't know like how recent that is.
He played 1 minute 8 days ago for the Knicks against Charlotte.
Oh, Cool. All right, so he's still hooping, I guess. My bad. Apologies to Ron Archidiakono.
Anyways.
Oops.
Oops. Well, on to the game that made me happy.
Yeah, like I don't want to talk about this Villanova Houston game. It just wasn't good. It just wasn't good. But yeah, my takeaways are just like, okay, Justin Moore's out. Villanova can win these ugly games, which we kind of knew that. We kind of knew that. And Kelvin Sampson is very impressive. Those are my big takeaways, and that's about it. Because wasn't a lot really to watch from a basketball standpoint. All right, the game that made you happy. Duke, Arkansas. Let's talk about it.
It was, oddly enough, it was one of those games like Duke got out really slow. It was like 9-2. Then they clawed all the way back, which is what happened against Texas Tech. And because they did that against Texas Tech, I wasn't worried when they went down and like Note hit those 2 early threes.
Yeah.
And it was a game that like I don't think it was ever. It was Duke's first game where like it was really never in doubt.
That's what I was going to ask is where does this game rank for you as far as stress levels of the tournament games? Because I was expecting you to say that it would be
third.
Low. Third.
I'd go.
Was Fullerton the lowest?
Yeah, but I almost put it third because I was in person, which I think I can't factor in.
Yeah.
First was Michigan State. Because just like Coach K not getting out of the round of 32, his final year, just like I couldn't deal with that against Tom Izzo and Michigan State. Second was Tech for obvious reasons, but if Duke went out against Texas Tech, like Texas Tech was a very good team, and even though Duke, like every year you suit up and you expect to win a national title, a Sweet 16 is still a respectable way to end your season.
Yeah.
Again, especially against Texas Tech. And then Arkansas, when Duke beat Michigan State and Texas Tech, I had confidence against. Like I was still nervous but like but again, like it was just one of those games that it felt comfortable. And like Arkansas made those runs and they cut it fairly consistently. Like they kept it within 4 for most of that first half.
Yeah.
Before Duke closed on that run. Which was just kind of the nail in the coffin. I think everyone would say that. And then Duke kind of kept it at like 15 or 17. And Arkansas had like a flurry of buckets in garbage time. But I think that's how I would describe that game.
Something I noticed, and maybe this has just always been true, but Duke only took 10 3-pointers in this game. Is that like normal for them to not take very many?
It's been normal this tournament. They're settling less.
That's
because you go back to that. You go back to the tournament, they were just hoisting the ACC tournament. They were just hoisting up threes. Like they took 32 against Syracuse.
Yeah.
They were hoisting up 3. Like that's what's been good for them. They've gotten back to what they like. AJ Griffin has the green light for obvious reasons from distance. Like Trevor Keels will still hoist them from the top of the key and from that left wing. Wendell Moore, you'll see him take one from like that corner.
Yeah.
And Paolo's even like stepped down. He's done well. I think he's shooting almost 50% this tournament. But they're doing they're getting downhill, and that's what they needed to do to be successful.
Yeah. This is another high volume game from JD Note where here's a stat that I pulled. Like I went back and looked through all the box scores. In this tournament, JD Note finished with 70 total points on 77 shots.
Oh geez.
It's like not good.
No.
Not good at all. And then like if you contrast that with a guy like Drew Timme, who I'm just using for reference, but like he had like 80 something points on like 40 shots, like or 50 shots. Like he was averaging like 1.5 points a shot or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but then Banchero 16 points. He didn't shoot great in this game. Like he hit his free throws, but
he had 16 and 7. Griffin is what sealed it kind of. And Griffin got Griffin like got a couple favorable matches against Chris Likes before he got benched for that second half.
Yeah.
And like it was Arkansas did really well against Gonzaga's size, and then they just couldn't like do it for like 2 days, 2 games in 3 days.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Duke again, I've talked about it, they all like to like kind of rip through and go right, and then try and finish on the opposite side of the basket. So that's what makes it tough.
Yeah.
Especially when Jalen Williams gets in foul trouble. Like there's not much you can do at that point.
Yeah.
Can't really contest anything.
Right. Duke's bench is about as short as it gets at this point. They only played basically 6 guys in this game. Theo John got in for like 5 minutes, but other than that.
Every team in the Final Four plays a short bench.
Which, I mean, it makes sense, obviously. Like, you want the best players on the floor as much as possible.
No, but like none of them really go 7 deep. Villanova definitely won't. UNC
they
really doesn't. Villanova can't. Okay, Villanova can't. UNC doesn't.
No.
Duke doesn't. Kansas can. But it's not like they have 6 guys.
Yeah.
And Mitch Lightfoot.
Yeah.
But,
so,
yeah.
I mean, that's good, though. I mean, we'll get to see, like, really. That's
high level basketball.
That's how you find out who the best teams are. Just like,
Correct.
All right, yeah, Duke to the Final Four.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Is this like can you be like satisfied with that if they? I mean, obviously.
I texted you that when you asked. You asked me what you remember that you asked me in February what I thought of.
You said then. Well,
was.
you said then if they get to the Elite Eight, I count it as a success.
I did.
But that was before we knew that they'd be playing North Carolina in the Final Four.
Yeah, now I say they have to be North Carolina. They do.
Yeah, but then they're in the title game, so it's like, why not just win the title game at that
point? Well, I'll get to my take about that when we get there.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, let's talk about the next game. Kansas, Miami. This was a tale of 2 halves.
I was gonna say it was a tale of 2 halves.
Yeah, like was Miami leading at half? I think.
Yeah, they're up 6.
Yeah, and then Kansas just destroyed them in the second half.
Yeah, they outscored them by 32.
Just absolutely turned up the defense, turned up the pressure, and the offense just didn't slow down.
No. Nope.
It was done. Miami's defense was not going to be able to stop them for that long. So.
And then the guards started the bad shots that they can take at times. Mm-hmm. Finally didn't go in.
Yeah, and that's how Miami's going to win. Is like they are just the backcourt. Like Miami was their backcourt, and
when Sam Wardenberg isn't hitting those open threes, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, they finished 3 for 21 as a team.
Yeah,
got out rebounded by 13. Only had 7 assists this game.
Well, listen, we loved Miami. That Kansas team was just better.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Like miles.
It would have been very cool. Like I didn't even realize this, but this was Miami's first ever trip to the Elite Eight. Like I would have expected, if you had asked me, I would have been like, yeah, they've never been to the Elite Eight before.
Like those Shane Larkin 2013 teams.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I would have figured.
You would have figured
done that before, but apparently not. So congrats, Larinaga.
Yeah.
He already has. I mean, he's been to a Final Four, so like it wasn't totally out of the realm of possibility that he made it happen again. But yeah, our preseason champion is still alive, man.
Yeah, I don't care. My take can be totally wrong now. I hope I'm wrong.
Okay.
Add that to the list of takes I've been wrong about.
Okay. Well,
I don't want to be.
At least we weren't so far off base. Like I think we can just be happy that.
Oh no, satisfactory now. They made the Final Four.
Yeah, I think the take has aged sufficiently well that you can root against it now.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Last one, Carolina St. Peter's.
Wasn't ever a game.
Yeah, like I said, St. Peter's was not going to be able to keep this up for very long. Like it is very impressive that they won the 3 games they did, but people were like, I was hearing stuff like, oh, like St. Peter's like to the championship. Like you realize they're halfway there. Like they have to win 3 games against better teams than the ones that they've already played, and it just like wasn't going to happen. There was no way. Yes. So I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but like this was as far as St. Peter's was going to go. There's no chance that they beat North Carolina. especially as well as North
Yeah.
Carolina had been playing. Like
Those guards and Baycott was always going to be a tough in the post. But I mean, they did well against Sheboy and to a certain extent, Travion Williams, and especially against Zach Edey. But
yeah,
at some point, it was just tough. And UNC raced out to that lead, and St. Peter's just couldn't hit a shot.
yeah.
But also, I did want to go back. We both, I believe, had Ochai Baji as our National Player of the Year candidates. And while he's probably not going to win. He was a first-team All-American. Again, I feel like that's a good take.
I think it is too.
Or good enough take.
Yeah, if we want to keep like gassing ourselves up, like we're on that Miami backcourt from the jump. Good. It didn't carry over into like our actual tournament picks, but
no,
we liked them at the beginning.
Nor did it carry over in our actual predictions of what the ACC would look like. We had them ninth.
Yeah. Oops. Yeah, my bad.
I'll own that one. But yeah, you want to talk about the Final Four, or
Let's
talk about it enough?
Let's preview these Final Four games. Let's talk about Kansas and Villanova first. We'll save the Civil War game for last.
Yes.
Because like that game is going to tear an entire state apart.
Yeah.
So get ready.
Tear me apart.
Strap in, Alex.
It's gonna tear friendships. I'm gonna lose friendships.
I mean, it's probably good that you're not home for this, if we're being honest.
Not gonna, you want to know? My second choice of a school was UNC.
Was it really? Did you apply?
Yeah. Yeah, I applied to UNC early action. Can you imagine me this week if I was at UNC?
I mean, like, what would you do?
I would have I'm not gonna. I had a friend. I don't know if he listens. I'm gonna call him out right now. I had a friend who, like me, grew up a Duke fan his entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Got into UNC and switched on a dime.
You have to.
No.
Yes, you do.
No, absolutely. On a dime.
Yeah.
Like he got into UNC and he was like, bye.
I mean, that's my first question is like, if you're a lifelong Duke fan, if you're a diehard, why do you apply to UNC?
Oh, the Hussman School of Journalism.
Okay.
Yeah. There's my reason.
Okay. Valid. No, valid for sure.
And but, like there were like tuition scholarship costs like too. What like
you cannot go to North Carolina and root for Duke.
I staunchly believe that I would have stayed the exact same.
I doubt that so much.
Okay.
At least, well, it's not that I doubt that. It's actually that I hope that that's not true. Because
really,
well, I don't want to know what I don't know. I don't want to know what that would have looked like for you. Being like,
I would have had a mental crisis.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. But yes, so I know that had nothing to do with Villanova, Kansas.
No, but important nonetheless.
That's an important tidbit about me.
Yeah. Villanova, Kansas. Maybe this is totally irrational, but I think Kansas wins this by a sizable margin. Maybe I'm, discrediting Villanova unreasonably, but I think Kansas is significantly better than Villanova.
Okay.
And I've been wrong about plenty of stuff, so I could be very wrong about this too, but like the way Remy Martin's been playing, like, okay, Con Gillespie will have like a similar game, and then it just comes down to the wings. And like, I'll take Agbaji and Brown right now over anybody else from that Villanova team. Maybe Samuels will hang, but like without more.
Caleb Daniels can hang with them.
I mean,
no,
he can, but
I'm no longer doubting Villanova.
That's interesting because they were your like.
Yeah, I was doubting them from the jump, and it was the depth concerns and it was the front court concerns, and I think both are still present. But Jay Wright has masked those issues entirely, and they are still hooping. So I'd still lean Kansas in this game. I think Jay Wright is a much better coach than Bill Self. I trust Jay Wright in a game of this magnitude more than I trust Bill Self.
Yeah.
And records obviously indicate that. But
true.
Bill Self has the more talented team.
Yes.
So
Which team, if we assume that Duke wins, which team would you rather have them play?
doesn't matter. It's a national championship.
But I mean, surely there has to be some matchup that you'd rather see.
Like as a basketball fan, or like Duke, like I'd want to be more confident.
You'd be more confident. That's really what.
I mean,
I mean,
just
from a basketball perspective, I think like it's a dream scenario, right? Like
yeah,
you're still matching up with one of the best programs in college basketball, but like
yeah.
just from a matchup standpoint.
No, but I just even wanted to say like it's like from a basketball standpoint, I'd rather see Duke play Kansas.
Because
Like, just as a basketball fan. What?
Because the game would be more entertaining, or
yeah, I think there's a less likelihood that Kansas tries to like muck it up and play slow. Like Duke and Kansas will absolutely try to like kind of run with each other. And they'll get into their sets early. They're gonna hoist up. You have a ton of NBA talent. Like, not to say that there aren't pros on that Villanova roster, but I think Villanova Duke would be more like a. It would be more like a 2015 like Duke Wisconsin like slower, a little low scoring like.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, like Villanova's depth issues, like you'd want to be able to attack that.
Yeah. So how do you? But as far as this game goes, how do you see Villanova Kansas playing out? Because I've already said like I think Kansas.
I think Kansas wins.
Okay.
I think Kansas wins by like 6.
Okay.
Just because I think Villanova runs out of gas.
Yeah.
Because those 5 guys are going to be playing basically the entire game.
Right. So you think it'll be close basically the entire game until maybe the last like 5 minutes.
Yeah, like the last 3 or 4 probably.
I could see that. I mean, Villanova will still not like even without more, they'll still knock down shots from the perimeter, and then
they will.
That'll go along.
It's gonna be a great test of Kansas defense, which has improved markedly over March.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious to see what Dave McCormick does in this game, because he's been better, but like he's only been playing like 22, 23 minutes a game. It looks like.
Yeah.
Like I question just like what kind of impact he's really had. Like he made the all tournament team for his region, which I was very surprised to see. Because like Igbaji didn't make it, like Isaiah Wong didn't make it.
Well, Igbaji had like 6 in the first game in the Sweet 16 game, so that's understandable.
Yeah, but he's also playing like as far as impact goes, he's playing like 36 minutes a game. McCormick's like 23, and McCormick like he's not like dominating anybody inside really. Like I guess he's playing, good defense, and he's a reason why the defense has looked better. But I don't know that there's been like a drastic improvement, because we thought he was going to be really awesome this year, and he wasn't really. Yeah. I don't know that there's really been that big of a difference. I don't know.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, but I mean, Villanova's they've played well against centers that are better than him.
Correct.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Duke, Carolina.
I feel like a lot of it's been said.
Like, it has.
And it's been said by everybody. Like,
but that's what this has been building towards. Like,
correct.
Save this for the end. So, what is Duke gonna have to do to win this game? What are your keys to the game for Duke?
Easily, forget March 5th and play like it was February 5th. Like, I don't know what else to go on a 31-8 run to start the game. See, it's gonna be tough because UNC, since March rolled around, has been the best team in the country, and that's according to Bart Torvik. So, I mean, Brady Manick has been virtually unguardable at points.
Yeah.
And the knock against Paolo all season has been that he is not lost defensively, but he definitely takes possessions off. And you need to be there the entire game against Manick. And
I mean, every single player in this game, it's the most important game of their entire
100%.
life.
And here's what I think is interesting. Like Hubert Davis could get a lifetime extension if he wins this game.
Oh, yeah.
If he wins this game, you can make an argument that, and I'm saying this without thinking about it much. So I want to preface it.
Good.
This might be the most impressive win in North Carolina history.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so
for a first-year head coach,
yeah,
yes,
that's my.
Absolutely.
And maybe he pulls a Bill Guthridge and he's out within like 5 years. But
yeah,
I doubt that though. I really do. Watching him like in the messages he's kind of had since November, but especially like in this turnaround, I really doubt he's going to be out in 5 years. So I mean, if I'm Duke, you have to like Banchero has to be locked in. Baycott to me is going to get like 16 and 12. You kind of know that's a known. Like you got to figure he's going to get that.
Yeah.
And Mark can affect that, and Theo John can affect that. You can't lose the interior. You have to own the paint. And Brady Manick isn't good defensively, so Paolo just needs to attack him.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be interesting to see where Hubert chooses his battle. Are you shutting down AJ Griffin, or are you trying to shut down Paolo with Leaky Black? Like, which one is Leaky Black zeroed in on? Because the February 5th game, it was just attacking whoever Brady Manick was guarding.
Yeah.
And to a certain degree, in 27 minutes, 30 minutes of basketball in Durham, it was the same case, and it was just high scoring. And then Duke needs to shut down the high pick and roll. Like, that's what killed them in the last, 7 minutes against North Carolina.
Yeah.
Caleb Love can't go nuclear.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a big difference is going to be Jeremy Roach has emerged, which is key because now he can attack RJ Davis. They're both uber quick guards. Like, they're both going to try and get downhill in a hurry. Coach K is going to sprinkle in the zone because I just think he's going to. I don't know if that's a good idea because you got to be honed in. It essentially becomes man-to-man again because you can't really leave Caleb, RJ, or
Manick.
Yeah.
You can't leave him on the perimeter.
Exactly. So,
which that would be playing into Carolina. I
correct.
think a lot because that's what they want to do is keep hitting threes, which is what they've been doing this whole tournament. So you can't give them that.
I'd sprinkle in a 1-2-2 press if I'm Coach K. And you got to get Paolo on the ball in the low block. Man, I can't guard him.
Yeah.
And honestly, if I want, Banchero has played the best when the brightest lights are there. And it doesn't get much brighter than the Final Four, especially when you're playing North Carolina. And this is a can't-lose game for both programs. But if I'm Coach K, yeah. If I'm Coach K, though, I genuinely consider throwing Wendell Moore at Brady Manick for a couple possessions. I mean, Dell is 6'6". He's 6'6" with a 7-foot wingspan.
Yeah.
And that does give Manick more time to now you don't have to elevate over a 6'10", 6'11" guy. But you can hide Paolo on Leaky. I mean, you'd let Leaky Black beat you.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. You make
Leaky Black be the scorer.
Yeah.
I don't know
how much they're going to be able to control that, though.
But here's the issue, though. I don't know. I think I worry sometimes about AJ Griffin defensively.
Really?
Sometimes, yeah. And I know that
that's not a concern I've heard very often about Griffin.
I know, but I don't know. Maybe when he gets beat, it's just magnified in my eyes. I'm dang, that. I don't know. I don't know what it is. And I know it hasn't been a concern because that's what a lot of people he's a good 6'7" wing for his size. He can play defense.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who do you put him on?
You got to put him on Leaky. You're going to start with Roach on Davis. You're going to have Wendell face guard Caleb Love.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody's going to rotate on Brady Manick, it's Griffin and it's Paolo Banchero.
Yeah.
And Griffin's going to guard Black. or Leaky, and I think you double Baycott.
That makes sense.
And if I'm Hubert, you're going to want, I don't know if you double Paolo. You double Paolo if him and AJ Griffin are on the same side of the court. You double him with Leaky and you make him pass out of that.
Yeah.
It's just really going to, I really do think it's just two teams trying to outscore each other.
Yeah. At what point do you think, like, say Caleb Love starts going off? Do we see Trevor Keels factor into this a good amount?
In what way? Like Trevor Keels?
Like face guarding Caleb Love.
I think Wendell Moore is a better defender than Keels. So.
Okay.
I think if you tell Wendell Moore that he needs to face guard Caleb Love for 40 minutes, he'll face guard Caleb Love for 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And if he hits 10 shots that way, then you shake his hand.
Yeah.
But I do think you see Keels on Davis, the size. But Keels is very good about the on-ball pressure, but he sometimes he does just get like beat. Like he just gets like he's very good at like getting his body, his chest, his hips into somebody.
Yeah. No, he's a good perimeter defender as long as he can keep guys on the perimeter.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And then he gets beat and then he's trying to play catch up and he can't.
Yeah.
So that would be my concern. They're gonna sprinkle in zone, and I hope they win those 4 minutes. Because they're gonna need to.
Yeah. The tough thing about throwing out a zone though against like a conference opponent is that they've all seen it.
Duke hasn't played zone against Carolina.
Yeah, but Carolina's played against the zone.
Well, yeah, you play against Syracuse.
Yeah. So should be a good one, man.
No.
Are you just gonna turn your phone off for the whole game?
I'm gonna turn my phone off. I want to sit alone in my room and watch this game.
Really?
Yeah, there are people that want to watch it with me. Like I had a buddy send this to me, and I think it encapsulates this. You ready? I'm gonna read it to you. This is not my joke for anyone. You can find it on the internet somewhere. Friend, and this is in quotation marks. Are you gonna have a party for the Duke Carolina Final Four game next weekend? Me, a party? Look, this isn't a fun little game where we all get to head together and wear our favorite team shirt and hang a cute little house divided banner above the snack table. This is the most serious college basketball game to ever take place. I'm going to be sitting alone in my room on my bed on the edge of my seat with all the lights off, living and dying every single possession. I'm not drinking. I'm not eating. This is not something to celebrate.
Okay. There you go.
That I think encapsulates it.
Well, I was thinking of the meme of like the guy standing in the corner at the party, like by himself. Like I think that's like gonna be you, where it's the meme is like they don't
even know Duke UNC is on it.
Yeah. They don't even know I am suffering right now.
They don't even know I'm in a world of pain.
Yeah, we'll make that meme. We'll throw it out there.
Do you want like a crop picture of my face to go on there?
We could do that. Yeah. So good.
No. Yeah, it's gonna be so tough. I hope Duke wins by 100. Actually, no, I hope Duke wins by 42.
Why 42?
You know why?
Do I know why?
It's Coach K's 42nd season.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
It won't happen.
No.
I'm not feeling great in the slightest about this game. The nerves hit me on Monday. Haven't been able to shake them since.
Are you willing to make a prediction? Or
no.
Not? Okay.
You can make a prediction.
I don't want to because I don't believe in the jinx, but I'm not going to.
Thanks.
Yeah. But that kind of gives you an indication of where I'd be leaning anyway. So yeah.
So UNC.
No. Not a different blue North Carolina team. Just down Tobacco Road.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good game. The state of North Carolina is gonna blow up. NC State fans everywhere are gonna rejoice at the outcome.
Yeah. It is I know I made the joke on TikTok about like how an exciting season ended with 4 teams that we've seen plenty of times in this spot.
It's a great way to
before.
end a season.
But at the end of the day, like, I was mostly making a commentary on just the fact that there weren't any new teams. That was really all it was. But I'm excited. This will be fun. I think any one of these teams, I would be fine with them winning the national championship, except the ones that I can't say that explicitly about because I'm a Maryland fan. But like,
Team on the right side of the bracket, you're fine with winning the national title.
except maybe not Villanova. So
Okay,
maybe
so you're chill with Kansas winning the national title.
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I'd be fine with all but 3 of these teams winning the national title.
Flip that. I'm fine with
Yeah.
all but 3 of these teams winning the national title. Carl Heiser.
Yep. So you heard it here first. I don't think we need any final thoughts. We've said all that we have to say. But thank you to those of you who have stuck with us through this episode.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be back after the conclusion of the national championship game to give you our thoughts. It might be Jim Arrange in the dark, which that was our pre-show joke, is that Field of 68 has a show called After Dark. If Duke doesn't pull this out, Alex will be in a dark room and it'll be
In the dark.
In the dark. So hopefully we get to see Alex's face though next week. That would be good. That's a good sign if we see Alex next week. But thank you to those of you for tuning in, for watching on YouTube, for listening. If you're on Spotify from YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Really appreciate it. If you're on Spotify, follow the podcast, drop a 5-star review. We would also really appreciate that. You can follow us on TikTok and on Twitter at Jim Arrange Pod. And that's it, right? I hit all of it. Let's go. 25 episodes. Big one next week. Prayers up for Alex. We'll see you guys next time.